The concept of parental alienation syndrome in family law and when there is a dispute relating to custody of children. Parental alienation syndrome, coined by the child psychiatrist Richard Gardner, describes a situation where one parent manipulates a child to reject the other parent, often seen in high conflict custody matters. Parental alienation syndrome is a term used to describe a situation where one parent, through manipulation and negative messaging, intensely damages the child relationship with the other parent, leading the child to reject him or her. The alienating parent may portray the other parent negatively, exaggerate their perceived flaws, or create a narrative that makes the other parent seem dangerous or unworthy of child affection. Children who are subjected to parental alienation may develop a strong dislike or even hatred toward the targeted parent, leading to emotional distress and damaged parent-child relationship. Parental alienation syndrome is often raised in child custody cases as it can be used as an argument to influence the custody decisions, with the court potentially weighing the child's preference for one parent against the potential harm caused by the alienation. It is crucial to distinguish between the parental alienation and legitimate concern about the parent's ability to provide a safe and nurturing environment to the child. The courts consistently held in custody matters that welfare of the child is paramount consideration. So, the courts and the professionals should prioritize the child's best interest and ensure that any decision made regarding custody and parenting time are in child's best interest, regardless of parents' conflict or the presence of parental alienation. I will discuss the view of the Supreme Court without mentioning the name of judgment. Honorable Supreme Court in 2024 has discussed the concept of parental alienation syndrome in a judgment delivered in case between the estranged couple for custody of their children. Parental alienation syndrome, whereby one parent who is custody of child promote feeling of disaffection against the other parent in the mind of the child, which ultimately influences the child preference for one parent and court litigation for custody. The Honorable Apex Court relied upon the observation made by the President of the Family Division handed down in case of C. Parental alienation, instruction of expert 2023. The President's judgment focuses on the instruction of expert in proceeding where there is a allegation of parental alienation, and highlighted some key points when considering the importance of such instruction. The President of Family Division observed that the parental alienation is not a syndrome capable of being diagnosed, but process of manipulation of children perpetrated by one parent against the other through what are termed as alienation, alienating behavior. It is fundamentally a question of fact. Similarly, Honorable Apex Court in 2017 has discussed the precedent in the family division judgment regarding psychological effect of parental alienation syndrome, and observed that the first, it put the children squarely in middle of a contest of loyalty, contest which cannot possibly be won. The child is asked to choose who is the preferred parent. No matter whatever is the choice, the child is very likely to end up feeling painfully guilty and confused. This is because in the overwhelming majority of cases, what the child wants and needs to continue a relationship with each parent as independent as possible from their own conflicts. Secondly, Honorable Supreme Court has also observed the child is required to make a shift in assessing reality. One parent is presented as being totally to blame for all problems, and as someone who is devoid of any positive characteristics. Both these assertions represent one parent distortions of reality. The Honorable Supreme Court has also discussed the context of addressing the argument of one of the contesting spouses that children were expressing preference for other parent because of the feeling of estrangement instilled in them. The bench of the Honorable Supreme Court read that court must not readily infer parental alienation syndrome on the part of one parent, and observed that the court ought not prematurely, without identification of individual instances of alienation behavior, label any parent as a propagator or potential promoter of such behavior. The forced label has far-reaching implication which must not be attributed to individual parent routinely. The Supreme Court observed that the court must endeavour to identify individual instances of alienating behavior in order to invoke the principle of parental alienation syndrome so as to overcome the preference indicated by the minor children. The Honorable Supreme Court has also decided that each case should be decided on the basis of holistic and all-encompassing approach, including the socio-economic and educational opportunity which may be made available to the minor children, his health, care and overall well-being of the children, the ability to provide physical surrounding conducive to growing the adolescence, but to take into consideration the preference of the minor child under Section 70 is paramount consideration.